Welcome everybody to episode 7 of the Canuckleheads podcast. My name is Justin. I'm joined by my co-host Mr. Wes, as always, and we have some games to go over. But before that, we just want to address one thing real quick here. We talked about a comment last week. We maybe should have not done that. That guy was non-agreeable and just kind of a bit of a troll. So all that has been deleted. So don't go looking for it. This is the last time we'll bring it up. Just want to let you know because we did address it in the last show there. So the Canucks had 3 games this week, all at home. And the first one we will go over is the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid in the house, October 30th, 2021. Pullman and Jack Rathbone were back in the lineup for this one here, so that was nice after Pullman had missed a couple games with a undisclosed injury. As far as I'm aware, they never said what it was.
No, they never announced it.
And Rathbone, I believe, was just scratched for a game or two. Just sit him down because he was the rookie. My notes here, Justin Bailey looked really good. He's a fast player, but on a Canucks team that I wouldn't say is slow, more just maybe average speed, he really stands out as a guy who can fly.
No, 100%. And one thing I was happy with is Travis Hamonic is also back. So
not in this game.
No, but in the near future, I guess, if we're covering the Edmonton game first, we should do it in order.
Quit getting ahead of us.
I know, that's my bad. I always do that.
But yeah, so Bailey, I kind of want him to stick around because really, he and Mott are the only 2 guys I would say I would qualify as fast.
They fly. Yeah.
Garland seems like he could be fast. We've never really had a chance to see him in just a one-on-one foot race. So.
Yeah, but he also doesn't have the big body that those guys do with the speed, so it's a little more deadly when you have Bailey or Mott flying in at you.
Yeah,
for some reason,
speed.
It just seems a little bit more effective.
So this one here, I had a note. Wes's boy, the Professor Brock Besser, had a horrendous turnover to the last man on the planet in the NHL that you want to turn the puck over to Connor McDavid.
Yep.
He set Puljujarvi up for a play when he hit the post, so got lucky on that one. Just not to pick on Besser singularly, is just I noticed that and I wrote it down for whatever reason.
Yeah,
so.
no, 100%. It was a terrible pass. It was just and I'm sure as soon as he let the puck off his stick, he knew he made a mistake, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and of course it was going to go right to Connor McDavid.
Yep.
We just got lucky that he didn't score there. So.
Yeah.
Thatcher Demko was a juggernaut in this game.
Once again.
Yep. If it weren't for Demko and Halak,
we'd be in serious trouble.
We are not in a good spot right now, but we'd be getting blown out of the water game after game if it wasn't for these 2.
The fact that they've been able to keep the goals to a minimum for against is actually crazy, because I feel like any other tenders for us in net and we'd be having 6 game or 6 goal losses, and it's crazy.
So this game here, it was the Canucks weren't bad by any means. It was it feels like after the end of this week here, a kind of a turning point for them. Just in my notes here, it was I believe they ended the first period down 1. The second period, they had a really good second period until the very end. They gave up a late power play goal.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of positive things the Canucks were doing, and that it looked better than the other games they played so far this year. In the third period, again, Thatcher Demko was crazy. He stopped Connor McDavid one-on-one twice, which...
You don't see that very much.
Yeah, few goalies in the NHL do that. So.
Yeah.
And I would say the Canucks, for the majority, controlled play, and we just couldn't beat Koskinen, I believe it is his name.
Yeah.
Until there was 5.8 seconds left in the game, and Besser scored on a great shot, just beat him clean like Brock does.
Just too little too late, and that's the thing, it just felt like we were kind of in our own heads a little bit, just couldn't get the puck past the goalie, and that happens sometimes. We did play a pretty decent game, though.
Yeah, and that was Brock's 100th career goal, which is crazy to me. It does not seem like he's been in the league that long. Bo,
they shared a funny statistic on the broadcast. They said that he's the 4th in 4th place out of any Canucks player in the franchise history to make it to 100 that fast, which is pretty amazing considering the players that have played for the organization.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's beaten Palvelbury on that one anytime soon. So
that ain't ever happening.
So this one here, I just have noted, the Canucks lost 2-1 to the Oilers. The Canucks were very impressive in this game, and that it was a hard one to lose, but they did a lot of things that were trending in the right direction, as we'll kind of keep discussing here.
We're making improvements.
Yeah, so it was nice to see a competitive game and not just Demko standing on his head, which he still did. But yeah, they were helping him out at least a little bit this go round. But yeah, that was October 30th, 2021.
We had sick timing there.
Yeah. The next game we have is against the New York Rangers. They were in the house on November 2nd.
And what a game this was.
This was a good game. So Hamonic was back for this one. Had a 1-game stint in the AHL. A lot of kind of the Canucks reporters in Vancouver were surprised that he was back this quick. I heard a lot of things that they would be shocked if he was in the AHL for a week or two. Just get some games under his belt.
There was speculation on the timeline, and people were saying that he wouldn't have been able to play down. He would have just been sitting in limbo. So they said...
the AHL?
Yeah.
He played a game.
No, I know he played 1 game, but then there was something where he would have been sitting in limbo. I can't remember what it was.
It was States or something.
It was either timing of his vaccination or something to do with that, where they just thought, well, if he's going to just be sitting there, we might as well be putting him in the game and getting some experience under him so that he's good for the rest of the season.
Because I've also heard too that because he can go back to Abbotsford without being put on waivers. So I've heard, too, that after the Homestead, he's going to go back to Abbotsford to play more because...
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, because the Canucks are going to the States, and he can't.
Well, yeah, and he is vaccinated, but I think it's just the timing.
I think he might only have his first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The timing of it is just not lining up, so...
But
he'll be there.
But you have to have you have to have your two shots. Travel and not quarantine. So
we are fully vaccinated, so we'll be going to a game.
But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rathbone get called back up again.
Yep.
And Hamonic stay in Abbotsford and play some games and just kind of keep getting into game shape there.
No, for sure.
The Canucks' best player has been Connor Garland. This first period was the best period the Canucks have played all year, and Connor Garland was the best player. He was just we say it all the time. He's just so shifty, and I don't know any other players that are as sharp as he is in terms of the way he moves. Even Connor McDavid is super fast, but he's more of a round cutter, if that makes sense. Same thing with Quinn, where they're kind of circles. Yeah. Where Garland just zigzags
sharp
everywhere.
Cuts. He's
got 100%. Such a unique style in almost everything he does on the ice.
And it's kind of funny because his goal scoring ability is almost just as dangerous as his playmaking ability.
Yeah.
And lots of the times guys either have one or the other, and he has both, which makes him a dangerous player.
Yeah. So on this first period here, we had a power play where we finally had some movement and an interesting swap. So on the power plays before in this game, Mika Zibanejad was glued to Pettersson. Within a foot from him the entire time. Then we finally had a different rotation on the power play where Petey and Quinn Hughes switched spots. So Petey was on the blue line and Hughes was on the circle where
Petey usually stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it confused the Rangers so much. You could see Zibanejad not know if he was supposed to follow Petey or stick with his guy. And this is the kind of stuff we need to see on the power play because it's been so stale and predictable. And when JT Miller has the puck, where the power play is basically run between Miller and Hughes.
Yeah.
Miller does the same 3 things because he's not shooting for whatever if he shoots, he can score too from anywhere.
Of course he can. He has a deadly shot.
But he won't
shoot it though.
Yeah, it's either a pass behind the back to Hughes, just a pass to Hughes, or he tries to go across the ice to Petey.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what's been going on there.
Those little drop passes are starting to get picked now, so it's not a good look. And there's a couple times where I'm yelling at the TV, just shoot the puck because he has an open lane to shoot. But then he just tries that little chip backhand pass to Petey, even if there's a guy on him. And it's why? Just lay it on net. Hopefully we get a rebound. You have to just put it on net sometimes.
And the swap with Quinn and Petey makes so much sense, and it's something we need to see more of because Petey can hammer a puck from anywhere on the ice.
Yeah.
And if he's not getting his one-timers in the Ovi spot or like the circle, like where they have been primarily from his career. Put him at the point and let him start wiring pucks from there, because Hughes has lots of space and time.
Yeah.
And that's just going to free him up, and he's our best player offensively. You want him to have time and space with the puck. So if that helps do that, I want to see that all the time.
Yeah,
and
it's a good adjustment from the coaching staff.
Yeah, and we didn't see it again.
Yeah.
So that needs to be a thing in the power play. So next, we had a goal from JT Miller. This was in the third period. The Canucks were down 2-0 going into the third. We had a quick one here from Miller on a great pass from Garland across the ice, and it's just kind of a tap in for Miller.
Absolute laser beam pass. All he had to do was have his stick on the ice, and it was there. So.
And so this was maybe 2-3 minutes into the third, and really got the crowd into it. And it was nice to get this one. It was huge because the way Shesterkin for the Rangers was playing, and like he had a couple posts and like fortunate bounces, and it just seemed like we were going to have a good game and get shut out, is the vibe I was getting from it.
That Shesterkin played an unreal game.
He was good. So yeah, to beat him early in the third was huge, because it felt like we had a chance then.
Yeah.
And then we had another goal from the silly Podkolzin.
And that's the thing. That's right where you've seen the momentum shift in the game. Once JT scored, it was on.
Yeah. Well, and I wouldn't say we never lost the momentum. It just really got the crowd back in it.
And it swung in our favor after that.
Us basically the whole period after that.
Yeah.
So like I said, we had a goal from Podkolzin on another great pass from Connor Garland.
Snipe.
Didn't even look. Just threw him the puck. He said Podkolzin was calling for it, and great shot. Beat him over the shoulder, top corner.
Amazing shot.
Yeah, nice to see that from Pods, who clearly has an NHL level shot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good things that you see in Podkolzin that make you really excited for 2-3 months from now, when he's had some time to adjust to the game and be able to like think it at a faster level, because he is at home in the NHL. He doesn't get bullied around. He throws big hits. He's Russian Jake basically, but smarter.
And what I noticed too is he's not afraid to hold on to the puck for a little while and make a nice play. The kid has amazing passes and great poise with the puck. He's not afraid to kind of dangle around a guy for a second to wait for a play to kind of happen in the zone and then make that pass.
Yeah. And he had a great third period. He scored the goal. He threw a couple hits. Like, he was noticeable in this third period till he got kind of benched, because we were trying to push for the go-ahead goal. And that's kind of okay, right? Like, you're going to roll your lotto lines, your bow line, just to try and get that game winner.
Green did comment on that in his post-game interview. He kind of said you do kind of worry about making a guy sit too long. You think like maybe he's not going to be into the game anymore once you finally put him out there. But you got to understand, as a young guy, you got to roll those big lines to try to get ahead in the game. And I don't think he's going to have a problem sitting on the bench for a few minutes when he knows he's going to get opportunities once he gets out there.
Yeah, and even there were a lot of power plays in this game for and against the Canucks. So he doesn't play on special teams, so he sat a lot, but he never looked like he got disengaged or bored. He was into this game the whole night.
It's funny, like, you look at the opportunities they're already giving Podkolzin. They're already playing him with Connor Garland and players like that, where they know that they can feed him the puck and get him some good chances. So,
he's playing with good players, which is nice.
Which other guys on our team never got that opportunity. A Gaudette, for example, he was kind of playing with guys a little bit lower tier than what he would have liked, so maybe he wasn't getting the same amount of opportunities, so...
Also, we're a deeper team now.
No, for sure. With Garland and OEL, like, just those two players add so much depth to our lineup and so many more options for the power play.
And it's interesting, too, like, where would we be now if we didn't make that trade? Because those two have been arguably our two best players.
100%.
Like...
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's scary to think where we would be without them right now.
Absolutely. That being said, though, if Nate Schmidt had stuck around, I think he has like 10 points in 10 games this year. So
I think that was a great trade. If you don't want to be here anymore, see you later.
Yeah, which sucked. I like Schmidt a lot.
No,
it sucks that it didn't work out, but we're glad he's doing good in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Again, in my notes here, I have Demko. He's just a juggernaut.
And he's a genius, not a Demko.
Yeah, genius co. But Yeah, he lost I learned something on this one too. He lost his blocker in a scramble, and
refs didn't blow it down.
Yeah, which is you don't have to, like not like a helmet, right? When the goalie loses his mask, like plays over.
Yeah.
If he loses anything else, I guess you can just like
keep going.
Yeah. So.
Which is kind of a concern because, like I was saying to Justin earlier, like he was flopping around in the crease at one point. You've got Canucks all piled in the crease. What if one of his fingers gets chomped off? Like, that's kind of a concern, right?
It's kind of a scary play, for sure.
But that's the thing. Then you add that into the game. Then goalies start throwing their blocker when they're in a tough spot. Yeah. And then you got a problem. So I agree with the refs letting the play go. It was just a frantic situation. Yeah. And Demko's foot saved there while he was laying on his stomach. Absolute beauty. It was amazing.
It led to maybe one of the potential saves of the year.
Yeah.
It was just...
100%.
It was crazy. Like, just the Thatcher, the Demko, the Juggernaut.
Doing his thing.
Yeah. So this one went to overtime. And in overtime, we had a game-winning goal from JT Miller, who just a great pass from Quinn Hughes to spring him on a breakaway, and just a great effort from Miller. He just made a deke, tried to beat the goalie with his backhander, made a stave, and just stuck with it. He got the puck again and then tucked it in on the wraparound. And
which... a lot of people, like, I was talking to my one buddy at work, and I was saying, like, oh, did you see that goal by JT Miller to win the game? It was amazing. And then my buddy goes, oh, that was a trash goal. Do you know how hard it is to do a wraparound that tight on the backhand?
Yeah.
Very difficult to do, to hold it in the proper position on your stick and whip it into the net like that. It was a high-level goal, and I loved every second of it. And JT Miller, you were my player of the week last week. Let's go, baby.
And, yeah, it was... because he was going full speed too on the breakaway too, right? So to be able to stop, grab the puck, and then wrap around, it was just a good
on
goal.
The backhand,
and we fucking needed it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good, solid win, and it was nice to be rewarded for a probably our best game of the season at this point.
Yeah, we played well as a team,
and they didn't quit. Like, it really felt like in the third period they could have just been like, well, we're not beating them tonight. We'll just get through this 20 and then try again next night. So.
We have heart for days, and we keep pushing till the very end of the 60 minutes, which I love to see.
So this was a 3-2 win in New York in overtime, against New York in overtime.
Big 2 points.
All right, so on to November 5th, Friday night. We had Nashville in the house. Right off the start of the game, Elias Pettersson's first shift, he pulled a beautiful spin move at center. Well, not at center ice, but at the red line.
Yeah.
This, before we even get into the details of the game, this was Petey's best game.
100%.
He looked confident. He looks like he's really starting to be the player he is. Like, starting to like really shake off the rust now. So it was a good sign to see that early. We haven't seen anything like that from Petey yet.
When you see him pulling 360s on a defender to get through into the zone, you know he's feeling his confidence again, and it was nice to see.
So... towards the end of the period, was it the second? The end of the second?
For
we
which?
Had our goal for Besser?
Yeah.
So, it was the end of the first, sorry.
Was it the end of the first?
I think it was.
I thought it was early second. We watched this game like a day ago, so it's not always so fresh in the memory.
I'm pretty sure it was towards the end of the first, but we had a goal from Brock Besser, who just showed so much patience with the puck with time winding down, and just a crazy deep move.
A lot of guys there in that same position... they get that pass, they're shooting the puck.
Yeah, just gonna ram it on net as soon as possible.
It sounds like obviously they did a lot of video on this goaltender because he talked in the intermission about it, and he said he knows this goalie is very aggressive, so he knew he would have time to kind of make that play and go around him, which it was an absolutely sharp move, and I love to see that out of Best because sometimes he does just get in the mindset of only shooting the puck.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see a deke out of him. I sellied so hard when it happened. Made sure to wear the jersey once again for my boy. Let's go.
And so for some of you older fans out there, this goal, the way Besser scored it, if you were around, back in 2004, I believe somewhere in there, the Brendan Morrison overtime goal against the Calgary Flames, that's kind of what it was like, but on the other end of the ice. Yeah. So just a beautiful goal from Brock, and a great cross ice pass from Hamonic too. So it was nice to see him
100%
not looking too rusty on his playmaking abilities there. Then we had a goal from Niels Höglander, who scored the same goal, but from the other end of the ice this time, the opposite side. It was just a great shift from the bow line, Hogsbow and Pearson. they had a lot of sustained pressure, and then it just finally led to a great goal from Hoglander.
Which I was really happy to see Hog get rewarded on his play, because he was everywhere in this game. He worked so hard, and he was creating opportunities all over the place. Chipped Bo for a nice opportunity. He was everywhere, so it was nice to see him get one.
Yeah, Hog has been
lights out.
Very consistent. Hasn't had a point in 6 games, so it was nice to see him get his first goal of the year here, and very deservingly too, right? He hasn't just been invisible for 6 games.
He works hard.
Yeah, he's still he's playing the same way as he would if he had 10 goals already this year. It's nice to see him get rewarded finally for just being as consistent as he has.
Yep, but we need to get Pearson rolling here. He's had some crazy opportunities and pucks that this close to going in.
He had a couple in New York.
It'll feel nice to see him pot a couple here soon.
Then we had a scrap in this game. Luke Shen and Janot, I believe is how you say his name.
Yeah.
Janot won the fight, but it wasn't... Shen didn't throw a punch. It was just kind of a wrestling match, and he got cracked in the helmet a couple times. So.
Shen being Shen, he's trying to elevate the team. He's trying to get energy back in the building, challenge the guy. The guy was more than willing to oblige, and Shen just kind of ate a couple and took him down.
And like I imagine we're going to continue to say this year, Demko was huge. He had an amazing pad save to keep the game tied.
Yeah.
Gave up a late one, which sucked, but again, the power play was letting us down here.
Yeah.
We had a lot of power plays.
I think
a lot.
Now we're 8 or 9 power plays without a goal, which really sucks.
It's to the point where you need to seriously change that first both power play units, right?
Which we did see.
We did, yes.
We've seen a big change up on the power play. Bo wasn't even on first line power play, which was interesting to see, but I like the mix up. When your guys aren't going and they're not even creating dangerous chances, it just seems like they're kind of flustered out there. You really have to switch things up, and I feel like we did that.
Yeah, for me, I'm just kind of stealing this point from Thomas Drance from the Vancast here, because I think he's right. The biggest switch should be Miller for Garland.
I 100% agree. Garland's playmaking ability right now is on another level, and I'd love to see him out there.
And Garland's a righty too, right? So he can...
creates more options.
And he's unpredictable, right? Yeah. And which is such a hard counterpoint. It's not to pick on Miller, because Miller's great.
He's great.
Miller, we know what's going to happen with Miller on the power play. With Garland, I think you could have him there for his whole career, and you would never know what he's going to do.
Yeah, and
I don't know if he knows what he's going to do.
One thing about Miller is he just kind of stays in that area above the circle, kind of in between the blue line and the circle there. And he doesn't really try to rotate down low, which Garland does.
Yeah.
Garland will skate right around behind the net, make a shifty play happen, chip it out in front. He's just got a little bit more options, more diversity there. So I'd like to see that change. Yeah. And then you have Millsy on the second line power play to come out flying on the second line, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and at this point too, we have 2 solid power plays where it's not a huge downgrade. We're not rolling out Roussel and Pearson and Gaudette on the second unit or Jake or something like that. Right?
And we also have the option of either playing Quinn or OEL on the power play first line, which I love having that option.
Yeah, I like having the 2 blue liners, because they're both very, very clearly better than Myers or Edler at running a power play.
100%. That's what they're built to do. They're offensive playmaking defensemen.
So it was nice to it'll be nice to see some shakeups on the power play, because it's stale at this point. It is. And especially going from the night in New York where we saw the PD and Quinn Hughes change spots, just to completely get rid of that sucked.
Yeah.
And let's get rid of Chason on the power play.
Yeah, and they kind of did that as well.
Or put him on the second unit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Chason didn't see any power play time. He really didn't see much ice time in general, which honestly I feel is the move. I didn't like that they were just so confident on continuously putting him on the first line power play. I knew from the beginning it really wasn't going to work. He potted 1 goal, but that's just kind of out of circumstance. I think we have a more high percentage chance of scoring more often without him on the first line power play, and that's no disrespect to Chason. That's just how I feel. I feel like we have really dangerous guys to be there. So
Yeah, and we need to shoot more.
Yeah.
Like, we have serious
PD and
shooters.
Besser are starting to roll. They're starting to let shots go, even though, because I think coaching staff just told them, don't try to be too fine with the puck, just put it on net.
Yeah. At this point, like, you saw in the New York game, New York scored a power play goal in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It was just a shot from the blue line that went in.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you the last time we scored a power play goal.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
like, just start shooting.
It's been rough.
Pucks on net.
Yep.
Never a bad idea.
No.
So, yeah, Canucks lose this one 3-2 to the Nashville Predators. This week, overall, we went 1-2. But every game, we were good. We were way better than the previous weeks.
Big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if we would have played Nashville the way we were playing 2 weeks ago, we would have got slaughtered.
Smoked.
We played a great game against Nashville. Even after the loss, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not even that disappointed with that loss because we played a good game.
Yeah, it sucks to be in that spot because we're dropping points to a Western Conference team. But again, like, for how the way the year started, like, this is a big improvement.
It's nice to see the team making steps in the right direction.
Yeah, and kind of starting to figure out how to play together, right? Because there was a lot of new pieces, and Petey hasn't played much in the last 2 years or whatever.
Which is a huge factor.
Yeah.
Like, Petey with almost no games under his belt, so we've been so critical on him, but the guy's barely played in 2 years. Give him some time to get warmed up and get his feet wet, and then give the rest of our team some bonding time, and we're going to be lethal out there.
And I think they are really starting to gel now, too. And especially, like, again, Garland just playing such a unique style of hockey is probably pretty difficult to just know where to be when he's on the ice because you don't know what he's going to do. And again, I don't think he knows what he's going to do. Like,
he just makes stuff happen.
Yeah, I think he just reacts and goes. And
he plays the game. And, like, I'm a big UFC guy, and I really like fighters that say, I don't have a game plan when I go out there. I wing it, and I see where the fight goes when I go out there. And when you have that type of mindset, it really just lets you flow. You don't have one particular mindset that you're just dead set on, so that when that's not working, you're really flustered.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a plan B. It's nice to just let the game flow and see your options, and that's what Garland does out there. He sees the guy that's open, he makes the beauty pass, and we get goals.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. So that kind of wraps up our week there. Again, we're trending in the right direction. We'll address this now. I talked about it. Well, Wes brought it up last episode. I'm not going with a jersey this episode because
only reason I did is because Bess had a couple big goals. We're on the road to 40. Let's go.
It's because Wes is a bullshit liar. That's why. So if we have another fucking week like we did, no
jerseys on the pod.
How many goals Bess scores?
I agree. No jerseys on the pod. If we get a couple L's, no jerseys.
So that does it for the games this week. One topic I wanted to talk to you about is the Canucks on the blue line after the OEL trade are still kind of in the same spot they were before the OEL trade. And so what I mean by that is we still don't have a defenseman to play with Quinn Hughes, right? Like, we still have a number one defenseman. Yeah. Just because you're not going to play OEL and Hughes as a pairing.
Yep.
We have a number 3 and 4 and number 2, I would say, with OEL, but you're not going to play him with Hughes.
Yep.
So we still need a top pairing guy on that blue line because long term, anyways. Like, Hamonic could fill in a little bit. Shen's not going to be that guy.
No, that's the thing. I like that we see Poolman back because it gives Quinn like a more solid partner. They have been pairing those two together. Yes. But did you notice they've double shifted Quinn Hughes a couple times?
Yes.
Which is interesting to see. They're kind of McDaviding him. Like, like, you're staying out there 2 shifts, bud.
And one thing with that, though, too, like, I don't even think Poolman is the long-term play with Hughes.
No,
he's just not...
I think he's a great option right now.
Right now, yes.
And you've seen him with Hamonic one time as well again, which it's interesting to kind of see that pairing back.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean, that they're still in the same spot, right? Like,
we don't have a solid pair.
We have a better overall defensive group,
yeah,
but we're still looking for that top pairing.
Yeah.
And the OEL Myers pairing, for whatever reason, works. Like, OEL is... Yeah. Myers is still going to have some turnovers, like we've seen. Like, that's what led to the Demko save without a blocker, was 2 Tyler Myers turnovers.
Yeah, that's true.
He had another one in New York, another turnover, so...
But the nice thing about OEL and Myers together is OEL kind of makes up for the mistakes of Tyler Myers.
Yeah.
Like you've seen a couple breakouts there where OEL's the only one back and he's doing an amazing job defending. He's doing everything he can to defend and help Thatcher Demko in any way he can. And I think that's why it works. It's just like the skill of OEL is like up here. So he can kind of make up for the mistakes of Tyler Myers, which our other defensemen really can't. So
Yeah.
it just works.
Yeah.
Two big guys on the blue line. It feels like when you're coming in on them, they just got those big long sticks, long reach. It's tough.
Yeah, you always think of OEL as a good offensive defenseman, but I think he's a really good two-way defender. And Myers, I would say, is more of like a 70-30 kind of guy, like for the offense.
Yeah.
And that pairing works for whatever reason. Like,
Yeah.
and,
Like sometimes we're breaking up the ice, and I'm like, that's Myers breaking into the zone, making
Yeah.
a pass. What's going on? But it just works.
So yeah,
it's awesome.
He's definitely brought up the value of the Chaos Draft a little bit here. So
Yeah.
so that's basically a set pairing.
Yeah.
Right. You have Hughes on your top pairing, and then you just have a rotation of guys that you're.
That's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of plugging and playing with guys, just seeing who's going to work this week with Quinn Hughes, which I think Poolman's the guy, but who knows? Throughout the season, that could change.
Yeah, like I really don't think he's gonna get a set partner.
No,
like, unless
it's
we
just
trade
gonna,
somebody or like.
I 100% agree.
So it was just something interesting that I thought about this week. How after the trades and everything, we're still in the same spot. Like,
Yep.
So that's kind of just a point I wanted to bring up there.
But we do have two great D-men.
Yes.
Which this team has lacked for a while. Like,
Long time.
of course, before we had Edler and Tanev, and we really, really relied on those two. But I feel like this is a big upgrade. And that's no disrespect to those two defenders, because they're the block shot kings. And they have heart for days. Like, Tanev is just bulletproof. But, I mean, Quinn Hughes and OEL are really offensive, playmaking style defensemen that can also defend, so it's just way more dangerous.
Yeah, it's it's kind of, we don't mean like overall, just at the point where both Edler and Tanev left. Like, this is a big upgrade from where they were in their
100%. Like the stage of their career,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm not talking
Like,
all time. But
Yeah, back in their prime, those two were warriors.
Oh, 100%. There's a reason why Alex Edler has the points he does on this team. Like,
Yeah.
he was lights out.
So yeah, another thing I've noticed too is Travis Green in the New York game was juggling the lineup like crazy.
Too much.
It seemed like every shift was a different combination of players.
You have no chemistry, and it just feels like the team's kind of fighting itself. I don't like that at all.
I didn't mind it because we got the win.
Yeah, but it's. I
mean,
like
though.
chemistry.
I know.
I like set lines. If one line isn't figuring it out, bench them. Play who's playing well. And Green is good at that. I 100% Sam behind him. It's just too much juggling of the lines drives me fucking insane.
One kind of line combo I would like to see though, even just for a period, is Miller, Hogg, and Garland. I think that would be all kinds of fun and chaos.
We have not seen Garland, Besser, and Pods either. And that's a fucking... If you
Because
play,
you don't have a center on that line.
but you can play Garland... Well, no, he's not big enough to play center. He's so scrappy. I feel like he's that type of player, but you can't really play him at center.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I wanna see the spark.
But we have seen Bess at center before. Just in the draws where someone gets kicked out. There's no guaranteed win of the face-off there, so they won't do it. It's just like those three players are so scrappy and so dangerous. It would be fun to see.
But yeah.
That won't happen, though.
Okay, yeah. So we should go over our Canucks of the week this week.
This is a tough one.
Did you start last week or did I start last week? I think you started.
Yeah, you start this week.
So I'm going to go back-to-back. Thatcher Demko, my Canuck of the week.
How could you not?
Yeah. To me, there was no, like, maybe Besser. He scored a couple goals, but that was kind of
Yeah.
it.
And there's
Maybe
bad
Hoglander.
turnovers in there, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Demko was just good
Yeah.
all around.
Good,
So, yeah.
good.
Back-to-back Thatcher.
Which I'm going to tell it how it is. I really struggled with this pick. In my opinion, there was 4 guys that really contended for this position, but I'm going Thatcher Demko. There's no way you can't go Thatcher Demko.
Yeah.
He has been frickin' lights out. The results are not because of him. He has stood on his frickin' head. These games would be blowouts without him. And don't get me wrong, Halak has played great too, but Demko is just another frickin' animal.
He's the Dem show for a reason, and he is full admission right now.
Yeah, and my other contenders for Player of the Week, I just want to put the contenders out there just because JT Miller, he's up there. He's not taking stupid penalties. He took one penalty. It was a tripping penalty. He knew instantly. He walked straight to the box when it happened, and he did not make that mistake again and got the game winner. So I'm not too mad at Miller. And then obviously Connor Garland, because oh my God, those passes.
He had a good game, yeah.
The passing just in all 3 games has been lights out from Connor Garland.
A lot of no-lookers from Garland too.
Just
tape to tape, not even looking.
He knows exactly where guys are at. You call for that pass, he's chipping it right onto your tape.
Yeah.
Then obviously Brock Besser, that's my boy. Obviously I just can't stop showing the guy love. I would have loved to have put him as the Player of the Week just because he got that late goal against Edmonton. Then obviously the first goal against Nashville.
Yep.
And it was a great goal. I feel like it swung the momentum. But it just... Demko's so consistent, you can't knock it.
To me, you raise a good point with Garland, but it's just so clear that Demko is the Canuck of the Week.
Clear. Thatcher Demko, all the praise. You're the Player of the Week.
So Demko batting 75% of the Canucks of the week.
For real.
Not bad. Who'd you pick last week?
JT Miller last week.
Right.
Which JT Miller was another guy, like I said just earlier, like he has been freaking good. Like on the power play.
He has been good.
On the power play, not great. Because he keeps making the same chip pass, like kind of just that backhand soft pass that's starting to get picked off. But I mean, 5-on-5 play, he's been great.
Yeah.
So Thatcher Demko, though, salute to you. You've been freaking amazing. Shaved the lettuce, and he's been lights out.
So again, we have 3 games to go over for next week that we'll cover.
Predictions.
Yeah, we will give you our score predictions here. The Canucks play Dallas tomorrow night.
Yes, we do.
November 7th.
Which is a very winnable game for us.
I agree.
We got Holtby in net, hopefully.
Ooh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Return,
Which will be interesting to see.
Unless he gets scratched, because we've seen that.
That's kind of the trend for us right now. When we play our old players, they're scratched for some weird reason.
Yeah.
But. We got Holtby.
Yeah. Gaudette and well, McEwen wasn't scratched, but he was having visa issues.
If Holtby's scratched, we have a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, we have a conspiracy on our hands.
So yeah, I think the Canucks get the win here.
Me too. It's so hard.
2-1.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad with that. I feel like it's so hard for me not to say 3-2. I say it in every episode. But I feel 2-1 is an absolute great prediction. I'm going with 2-1 Vancouver Canucks as well.
So then Tuesday night, the 9th, we have Anaheim in the house, which ends our homestead here. You go first, sir.
I'm going to make a strong prediction here. I am not a fan of Anaheim whatsoever. And I hope we blow them out of the water because we're trending in the right direction right now. Our play has been great. Yeah. I'm going 4-2 against Anaheim.
I'm going 4-1 against Anaheim.
Ooh, I like it.
Then we are on the road. We are in Colorado on the 11th, Thursday night.
This is going to be a tough game.
This will be a tough game. I think I'm going to give this one 4-2 for the Avalanche.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to argue with that whatsoever. Colorado is an absolute beast of a team to play. I hope we can make a game out of it. I'll go 3-2 for the Avalanche. I'm not trying to be biased here. I think Avalanche is just an absolutely nasty team.
So then we do have a game Saturday night, but we'll record the podcast before that, so we'll go over that game next week.
Yeah.
So I'll do my tweet of the week. We have another interesting thing to show here. We are getting towards the end of the show, but I'll do my tweets here. I had a couple because there were some good ones. The first tweet of the week. I don't even know if this is called tweet of the week. I just said that for whatever reason. The first tweet I wanted to
mention, now.
Yeah, is just a very small Twitter account here. It's from Elliot Friedman, Friedge, HNIC.
Big boy shit.
Yeah, he just said, make sure you watch the Thatcher Demko highlights from tonight.
Of course. Yes. Come on now.
Yeah. Well done, Freege.
Yeah.
The next is from Thomas Drance.
Another small account out there. You might not know him.
So Thomas Drance says, Connor Garland should be on power play 1. He should be on the top line. He should also be on the second line. Top pair right D. Why not? Work in the concession. Gotta try it. Whatever the question, the answer is more Garland. 100%.
I agree 110%.
Yep.
More Garland means more goals, means more opportunities. Put him everywhere.
Put him everywhere.
Yeah.
So the last thing we're going to wrap up with here is the Jack Eichel trade.
Yep.
We won't really break down the trade. He got traded to the Golden Knights.
Yep.
I thought...
I've seen a lot of people breaking down the trade.
Yeah.
And I thought Vegas won. I agree that, like, you know, once you start throwing picks in there and stuff, like, you never know. Like, it could be a big gamble. But at the end of the day, I feel like Vegas won that one.
They got the best player in the deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The thing that I'm glad for this one is that Eichel can get the surgery he wants and not, like, have to go through this shit anymore.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. Like, he has a herniated disc in his neck.
Which is serious.
Yeah, I've had 3 in my back at one point, and it was
excruciating.
Yeah, maybe 6 months of it being shitty to be a human, just to exist. Yeah. So it's not a fun thing to go through. So I'm glad, just from a personal aspect, that he can finally get the surgery he wants, and he doesn't have to deal with it anymore, and he can just get back to playing hockey or just not hurting every day just by existing.
What I really thought is Buffalo kind of showed their true colors in that whole thing. Like, I bet being a Buffalo player right now is kind of tough. Just considering the fact, like, our captain has a big time issue and you guys aren't letting him get the surgery that he wants. What happens when I need a surgery that I want? And that's your captain.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big freaking deal, and it makes your players not trust you. And I think Buffalo, like, yeah, they've been pretty good this season so far, but it's got to make the players really doubt the organization in a whole. And they see the way that Vegas has treated Eichel. Yeah, sure. Get whatever surgery you want. Get it next week. Yeah. Sounds great.
And to your point, Wes, like, an even bigger talking point is that this is going to be the major thing for when they have to renegotiate the CBA, because it's...
that Jack Eichel's at the forefront of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that the team could deny you, like, things, like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
crazy.
It is crazy. Like,
that's your body.
Yeah.
But like, they think they own you because you're under contract with them. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if many players were aware of that or not, but yeah. That is a kind of a shocking thing to hear.
This situation has brought that to light.
Yeah. And I think Jack Eichel said it best, like, he's the one that has to live with the surgery
for the rest of his life.
He's the only one that has to get the surgery and has to live with what comes from it. So
once you fuse your spine, there's no going back.
Yeah, and
that's it.
And there's usually follow-up surgeries to that where you have to do it again. So
which I was pumped. Like I said, big MMA guy. Chris Weidman had the exact same surgery and said that it was his easiest surgery. He's had over 20 surgeries. He's had his shin snapped completely in half. He has been through the ringer when it comes to injuries. So for him to say that this was the easiest surgery in his career, I'm sure that just gives Jack Eichel a ton of confidence going into the surgery, knowing, okay, this is going to be a success.
Yeah.
And he's going to get back to his play and just be lights out for the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm pumped to hear about that.
So, after everything, the biggest thing is that we're happy that Jack Eichel could just, like,
get his surgery
life going again.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Just come back and play hockey.
Let's go, Jack.
So I thought it would be a fun idea to talk with you over what you think it would take the Canucks to have acquired Eichel in this trade.
That's interesting because it would take a lot.
For me, and I know you're not going to be happy with this, where I think we start is Besser.
Because he's such a goal scorer. Yeah. Like, I understand why people throw him in there right away in the mix of a trade. It's just... it drives me nuts.
There are two starting points, I think. It's Besser or Horvat, I think, is where you start, right? Because you're getting a center.
Yeah.
You can give up a center.
And that's what they're looking for, is a full-time centerman, like a real first-line centerman, which they need right now. So it makes sense to go after Horvat like that. And he comes with a hell of a deal,
and
honestly.
He's a character guy, right? Like, Horvat's a pretty class
He's going to work hard and on a line with Mark Stone. Like, come on. That makes a ton of sense. It's just, it would take a lot to get a Jack Eichel on our squad, but I think you're in the right direction there. A Horvat or a Besser combined with picks, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Because we can't give up a defenseman because Hughes is non-negotiable, and I don't think they would want anybody else. Maybe Rathbone.
I don't even think to throw him in there because he's such a good prospect.
But that's what it takes to get him.
100%.
Right? So,
when you're getting a Jack Eichel, you got to put the...
So let's start with Besser and Rathbone.
Who else? Okay.
I think, or what we gotta.
But we're talking picks too.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely gotta give up a first for Eichel
because Eichel's a monster.
Yeah, probably this year's first. There's probably got to be a second or a third in there also.
Yeah, like they gave up a 2022 first round pick and a 2023 first round pick, I believe.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Was it a second round pick or a first round pick?
I know there was one first round pick in there.
And I know there's a 2023 pick in there as well. So like that's crazy. Like you're giving that's the future of your team.
Yeah.
In reality.
Yes.
But you're looking for results right now.
Do you think
Jack Eichel gives you that?
Maybe we'd even have to throw in like a Hoglander in there or something, right? Like a young guy who's shown some promise.
You got to sweeten the deal. You got to give guys that are going to work hard, which Hoglander consistently does that. But I honestly feel like he's such a big part of the future of this team. So is Horvat. So a Besser is more tradable.
Yeah. But say you swap out Hoglander, who maybe peaks at a 40, 50-point guy, for a number one center who's put up 80 points in the league before.
For sure.
So I think maybe that's kind of our trade.
It would be 2 players plus picks, 100%. So that's kind of what
Buffalo,
Vegas
so
gave
here's
up.
our offer. We'll give you Bess, Rathbone, Hog, and a first. I think that's what it would take to get Eichel.
Yeah, that's 3
Even
players
then, that might
and
not
a
be
pick.
Enough.
No, the 3 players and a pick I feel like is enough for a single player.
And I think the biggest thing is it's 3 young players because they're all
that have a bright
24,
future,
right?
Yeah.
So
you're betting on the future there, which that kind of would have been our offer, which I feel like it wouldn't have went through, but that would have been our offer.
I don't know if that would be enough to get him.
No, but that would be our offer.
It's a pretty decent start.
Yeah,
and I think you get 3 NHLers, 3 young NHLers in the trade.
Yeah.
And that first round pick is the biggest thing, though, right? Because maybe it's who knows where that ends up.
Or do you bet on Petey? Like he's kind of had a bit of a slump for us. So what if they put him in the trade?
Oh, I don't think Petey we trade.
Hey, 3-year deal at $7 million. If that doesn't work out, you have a way different deal on your hands. So he's kind of a tradable player in that sense.
I guess from Buffalo's standpoint, you could trade him in year 3 of the contract to his contender.
And can play center.
But, I think he would walk, right? Like, if you can't trade him, he's out of there.
Yeah, but it's an interesting conversation.
I don't think Petey for Eichel is a start at all.
It would be more. It would be more than just Petey.
On the Canucks, you're not adding to any deal Petey or Hughes. I think those are the 2 guys where you're like, don't even ask us about them.
But that's how I feel about Besser.
But that's not how it is, though.
I know.
I understand that's how you feel, but that's not how it is.
I just feel like look at the season so far. Who's been more effective thus far? And don't get me wrong, Petey has laid tape-to-tape passes, and he's been really good outside of goal scoring. He has been. And I feel like people aren't putting any light on that. Like, he's been making tape-to-tape passes and making the right passes. It's just I feel like Besser is so effective when it comes to goal scoring, but the passes aren't always there. So it's a juggle.
So what's your offer to Buffalo then for Jack Eichel?
I agree. I think that's our highest offer that we could put out there.
You could throw in a second or a third round pick, and not this year, but the year after.
That's the highest offer that we could put out there, which I feel like just... they wouldn't be interested in it. I think they got the right trade for the right player, and it worked out.
They got good pieces coming back too. Like Alex Tuch is a fast guy. Like I hate him. I hate Alex Tuch.
Look at the Vegas play. Dump the puck from our blue line. Send him on a breakaway. He scores 9 times out of 10.
So much in the playoffs. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
That will do it for episode 7 of the Canuckleheads podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, anywhere there's podcasts.
Subscribe to the YouTube. Do all that.
Yep. So we will talk to you guys next week. Until then, have a good one.
Peace. Another one in the bag.